As we all know, Diablo 4 currently is a very dead and dull game, but Season 8 has me quite excited because a lot of things are gonna change. One of the most notable things that I am very, very excited for is the fact that the Blizzard developers have understood the crucial fact about Diablo 4 that I have been saying for years at this point, that everyone has been yelling from the rooftops, and that is the fact that trying to make Diablo 4 a game that's accessible to people with severe brain damage is not exactly a long-term solution for the game being good and popular and shit. Because the game is not, okay? There's a lot of insane fanboys who are saying, oh, Diablo 4 is doing great. Yeah, Diablo 4 is surely doing great with 10k people on Steam and, maybe 80k more on Battle.net for a game that sold probably above 30 million copies. I'm sure it's fine. But Season 8 is gonna be wild, because one of the things that the devs have really understood is the fact that they need to make things harder, which is gonna be hilarious, because, their shitty decision making is what got us in this position. Them listening to people who are, the dads of 15 children and 3 divorced moms who can only play for 3 seconds a day, because they listen to those people. And you never listen to those people. They're trash. You don't care about them. They're completely, they're nothing. And these audiences don't exist. They're as the woke audience. It doesn't really exist. You should never pander to them. So let's see what's happening in Season 8. It's gonna be wild.
Season 8 just got revealed, and they're planning to make the game harder and more challenging. And we're getting a brand new pinnacle boss. Now,
Yeah, and this is a boss, by the way, from everyone's favorite game, Diablo 3. And I have said this already, and I personally think this is insanity. Because the reality is, Diablo 3 had such good boss design compared to Diablo 4. Diablo 4 has just that typical Blizzard shit design, that has permeated the gaming space with everything Blizzard. It's just some kind of boss that stays in one place. You're supposed to hit him, and time to time some kind of diarrhea gets shat on the floor, and that's it. If you have played Lost Ark, you know that there is not a single thing, a single boss mechanic that's good, that ever puts anything on the floor if that's not the main thing that you should be doing, looking at, and interacting with, okay? This is a pro tip for anyone who wants to make hard top-down bosses, and that is very simple. Never, under any circumstances, create a mechanic that just creates some kind of puddle of shit that damages or kills you if you stand in there. It's not fun, it's not interactive, it's stupid. And that's all that Blizzard does. Blizzard mechanics at this point are insane. Diablo's every single, even minor boss design in Diablo 2 at this point is just 100 years better than anything we have in Diablo 4 and anything that we even have in World of Warcraft, Retail, SOD, or Classic, or whatever. It's just, this boss was so good in Diablo 3. It was interesting, it was challenging, it had a learning curve. Oh boy. But the Naga gods that he summoned could one-shot you with the basic attack, which kind of sucked, but it was what it was. And sometimes the meteors literally didn't allow you to survive, but it was what it was. Most of the time it was really good, okay, because the meteors were random. But this thing was amazing. It was actually a fun fight. And there is nothing even close to this in Diablo 4. And the final fight in Vessel of Hatred is one of the worst fucking things ever. It is sad how actually noticeably bad Blizzard has become.
Now, some of these changes are good, and others are straight up terrible. Let me introduce Season 8 to you, what they're doing to make the game harder, and why some of these things are...
Oh yeah, this is why I'm actually interested in Season 8, because this is the first season, even though this is borrowed power yet again, Blizzard, stupid assholes. Even though this is obviously borrowed Paul, but this is at least cool. This is actually impactful. This is not borrowed Paul with a 10% more damage. Look at this. You can actually make builds around this. Kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Questionable, and we definitely have to give.
This will literally change how you play the game. That's really cool. Stuff like you see, the thing that people misunderstand is borrowed power is not actually bad. Borrowed power is pretty good, but you need to make it not annoying and shit. And you know, this is good. This is borrowed power that changes how you play the game, not just the shitty multiplier.
Give them PTR feedback. Season 8 is going to be the season of the lair bosses. We're getting new bosses, new mechanics, quality of life, and a revamped material loop. Last season was about the headhunts and the vampire.
Revamped material loop. I don't know why they are even doing this, because again, I have said this so many times. The Blizzard devs, they don't need to revamp the material loop. Revamping the material loop fixes no issues. The issue that Diablo 4 has is the fact that this is the loop that happens between the idiots who play this game and the developers. Developers make something. That something requires you to minorly farm it maybe once a blue moon. And the average Diablo 4 player is crying on the forums, crying on Reddit, crying literally everywhere, saying, it's still hard to farm. It's still hard to farm. And then the Diablo devs do the only thing they know how to do is, aka, make it irrelevant. They make you get so much of that stuff that it's now irrelevant. There is not a single crafting material in Diablo 4 currently that actually matters. All of them you have an abundancy, and why? Because this is all they can do. It's either completely overtuned and it doesn't matter, or it's completely undertuned typically, and no one has it. Which was not true for the materials, by the way, which was the only exception. Materials were in a decent place where you actually kind of needed to slightly work to get what you can. But the stay-at-home dad with 5 wives and 20 children who plays Diablo 4 for 4.5 milliseconds eon every 2 moons was pissed, and he complained, and the devs are retarded. There you go. I hate it so much. Everything is relevant. As long as you don't understand that you yourself are creating this problem by making everything meaningless, there is no point in revamping anything. I can already tell you what's going to happen with this revamp. They're going to revamp it, and 3 days into the new season, they're going to buff it so it doesn't matter anymore because you have an abundance of these materials. It's just stupid.
Vampire powers, and this season will be about killing this fellow, Mr. Belial, and he's the new Ultra Pinnacle Challenge, above Endariel and Duriel. There's also a mini version coming that will ambush you during other boss fights. And in order to make this work, they revamped the whole boss summoning. You can now always summon any boss you want. And then if you kill the boss, he drops a chest that you can loot. So you get the initiate lair bosses like Varshan, Gregoire, Beast of Ice, Lord Zir, and Urvar being new. And yes, there's also the Harbinger of Hatred coming.
God, this is such a stupid and boring fight.
If you then kill the boss, you can open his loot hoard now with the summoning material. Summoning is for free, but getting his loot, you still need the boss mat. This is how it looks after the fight. You get a chest, a loot hoard from the respective boss, and then you'll use your material. In this case, you killed Belial, you have the Betrayer's Husks, to pretty much get your reward and get your loot. In case of Belial, it's a bit different because you can choose which boss loot you want from him. Do I want Uber Duriel loot, Uber Gregoire loot, better Lord Zur loot from Belial? All the other bosses still drop their standard stuff, and you'll just simply need the materials to open them. Which is an interesting thing because you don't really need to go for these boss rotations anymore. Anyone can summon, and if you have the mats, you can loot. If you go in with your friends, though, you will get more loot out of it. So if you kill Belial, Gregoire, Varsh with 4 people, and then open the chest, each of you individually opens their own chest, you get more loot, +1 per party member. So 3 bonus pieces of loot, 3 chances for a mythic item more because you're playing with friends. And then if you kill Varshan or Grigoire, you'll get a Shard of Agony with which you can Duriel's loot. Not summon him, you can summon him for free, but you'll get Duriel's loot. Or you'll get from the Beast of Ice and Lord Zir the Pincushion Dole to get Andariel's loot, and the same goes for Urivar and the Harbinger of Hatred. On top of that, every boss, Varshan, Grig, Beast of Ice, Lord Zir, Urivar, they can drop a Stygian Stone. These Stygian Stones are used for any piece of loot on Duriel and Dariel and the Harbinger. So you can open their
I can barely see that there's a line going to for this. Like, what the hell?
chest as well. It's a joker. How does the Uber boss Belial and the ambush Belial now come in? Because once you kill a boss, a Harbinger of Hatred, of
No, seriously, I literally can't get past the idea that unironically Diablo 3 is a better game at this point than Diablo 4. Like, there's these boss mechanics. It pisses me off so much.
Varshan, any of these bosses. And then open their loot. There's a chance that you get backstabbed by Belial, the Lord of Lies, in his miniature form. So this is not big Belial,
Okay.
This is small Belial.
Oh, this is actually the small version of him. The one that sits on the throne before you kill the snakes in the Diablo 3 boss fight.
Kill him, and the loot is doubled. So you kill Andariel, and you get double the loot. You kill Harbinger of Hatred, and you get double the loot. Not only that, you also get Betrayer's Husk. And these Betrayer's Husks are then used to summon Uber Belial, the big guy, for the big pinnacle fight. And that's the fight you won. This is the pinnacle of this season, and that's also going to be...
There is literally no world where this is gonna be a fight like in Diablo 3. There's just... It's not happening. It's just not happening. You know that, right? It's just not happening. Diablo 4 cannot be made harder at this point. But the devs understand that there's no future for this game because it already has went with extraordinary speed, honestly, in Diablo 3's direction. Diablo 3 needed, I think, 2 years to get to this point of sadness. Diablo 4 is like on steroids with this shit. Insane.
Be our gameplay loop. Get to level 60, try to reach Torment 4.
Can I just start at level 60 in Torment 4? Like, come on, no one gives a shit.
And Torment 4 is harder now. We'll get to this. Yes, getting...
Wow, Torment 4 is harder, he said, which is probably a lie.
Torment 4 and advancing the pit is vastly harder. Farm pit for Glyph XP and the Infernal Hordes.
You know what I hate about this? The term hard here doesn't actually mean, oh, there's mechanics. Oh, you can't just face roll. Now, Diablo 4 has literally been a game from start to finish about just the DPS check. It's PoE 1 on super steroids to a degree, you could easily say. So, yeah, it's just, oh, you need to have more perfect items now to do this, because the things have more stats. Or, in Diablo's 4 case, the true truth here is the fact that you're just gonna have to have... you're just gonna have to have meta builds, the ones that are broken, and that's it.
And so on, and then kill bosses for loot and powers. Haha. Because that is the second part of this season. Boss powers. Not witchcraft powers, boss powers. And it's super fun. We're getting 24 collectible powers from the first time kill of a targeted boss. This includes world bosses. Belial, Lilith, Varshan, Grig, Duriel. All these kind of bosses. We have the blue ones, we have the orange ones, and then there's the super rare ones. Like, for example, these spikes here. This is the spikes from Uber Lilith. Gotta kill her in Torment to
Oh, damn, actually. Ugh.
actually get her boss power. And some of these are incredible.
By the way, this alone, I like the mechanic, but they're gonna nerf it. Like, literally in day two of this shitty season 8, they're gonna make it that you can acquire these boss powers through other means than killing Uber Lilith. Now, the reality is you can one-shot Uber Lilith at this point, like, almost with anything. But, well, you can also probably just form groups and something like that. You can just go to Diablo 4 Discord. Am I still in that Discord? I am not. Shit, I'll probably need to get back in there for season 8. But, people are not gonna like the idea that they just don't get this power for free. They too, and they're gonna add some kind of way to get this power for free as an RNG drop for just existing that everyone gets. Mark my words.
Incredible. The interesting thing is, a boss power has two parts, a main and a modifier. If you put it in the main slot, that would be the big eye on the top, then the main part is activated. And if you put it in one of the 3 smaller slots, then the modifier part gets activated. Lilith Power, for example, says, when you cast a skill, attack enemies with a wave of spikes that lasts 2 seconds, which means every 2 seconds, you can summon this Lilith wave that goes forward. Enemies take 60% increased damage from Wind of Hate each time it hits them, up to 300%. And the base damage was here 60,000. That would happen if you put it in the main orange eye slot, but if you put it in the green slot, then it says hitting an elite enemy with a main boss power creates an inert blister clone with 10% of their maximum life for 15 seconds. Killing the blister removes 10% of the elite's life. An elite can have up to 3 blisters active at once, except for world bosses. With this system, you'll be able to mix and match your own powers like crazy. There's an example here. That's the Wandering Death Chest Beam. It says when you channel a skill, you shoot out this death beam, doing frostbite, frost damage over time, and well, yeah, you can keep continuously channeling it. These boss powers are going to be criminal good fun. My favorite being Urivar's Lopped Bombs. After you cast an ultimate skill, lob 4 bombs that deal 60,000 fire damage and reduce your ultimate skill cooldown by 5. Well,
ooh,
there is a
stupid
rogue build that does nothing else but spam their ultimate. I'm doing like 5 ultimates per second. Yes, it's ultimate barrage, ultimate barrage, ultimate barrage, ultimate barrage. If I then on top get Urivar's Lob Bomb into the Reign of Eros rogue, just going fum, 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 fum. And this is not even the fully upgraded power. This is 62,000 damage at rank 7. With all your multipliers, with everything. I feel like we can do some really high damaging, crazy shenanigans with.
Yeah. I mean, this is not bad if the game was in a decent position, but ultimates were not, Oh, by the way, the fact that he can spam an ulti 4 times a second, boys, did I not call this literally when the game came out? Literally day 1 of the original Diablo 4's release. Not even season 1, not even season 2. Season 1, I said, give it a little bit of time and all of the ultimates are gonna be spammable. Because the reality is, ultimates never did enough damage, they were never enough impactful, they had too long of a cooldown, they were unusable. So, ultis were not designed well. And this is the thing, right? That's why now they're spammable. Again, there's no such thing as an ultimate. I told you that this is going to happen. Ultimates are going to be just regular skills that are going to be spammable.
With this stuff. And the only thing I have to do for this is I have to defeat Urivar 1 single time. I don't even need the loot to open his hoard. I don't need to have a heart to get loot from him. No. I just kill him and I get my absolute beautiful boss.
So he's talking above a recording of himself and the lips are not synced, obviously. So it looks very, very strange.
Power to then keep killing things easier. So in Torment 1, you just go there because it says in Torment to every single boss and you kill every single boss once.
Also, it looks like this is 2 times speed. Like, what the hell?
And get all your powers. And then we're going to go slaying and the world bosses too. So that's kind of the setup of season 8. I hope that sounds mildly interesting to you. So far, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks of fun with every single class, figuring out the builds and other stuff. But how are they making the game harder? And this is where they might be missing the mark a little bit, because they identified that in Season 7, it took a person average 9 hours to get to 60. Me personally,
This should be like, I mean, I should log in with level 60. Because nothing matters before level 60 in Torment 4 when you get the full gear drops. So, and this is what Blizzard does so well. Again, every single thing that they add in this game will somehow demean the things that come before it. Again, like, look at this. Leveling doesn't matter. No one gives a shit about leveling.
it took 3 hours to get to level 60. And in their opinion, this is too fast. They want to make the level experience slower, not better.
Why? It fucking sucks. You just level up. On level 10, you already have a full set of ancestral gear, or whatever fucking legendary gear it's called. And you just click arrows that point up. That's literally all you do.
Like, that's not what they said. They literally said this was too fast, we gotta slow it down. So the plan is pretty much that from level 1 to 25, you're gonna get less XP from killing monsters. Haha, you heard right, from killing monsters.
The plan is to drink some black tea, boys.
This means instead of killing monsters, you might just do more whispers to level up still equivalently fast on a lower world tier difficulty.
It has some honey in it. This honey. I have it here because you can't put honey in a hot thing because it then becomes useless. So, you know, I'm kind of running out of it. But it's literally right there. Bam.
Because why would I play expert on level 1 to 25 if I get less XP? That's not the only thing they're doing. Players were getting legendary every 3 to 4 minutes, an hour of playing. And people were kind of getting overwhelmed.
Well, how do you... I mean, I needed roughly 10 minutes to get a full set of legendaries. Again, it's like you just need to get level 10. And then you start getting, it's like by level 15 you have a full set. It's, what do you mean? They needed this long.
With legendaries, and they didn't like that at level 30 they were fully legendaried. That's at least what Blizzard keeps saying. So their kind of fix to this problem is that less legendaries will be dropping, yes, during the level up phase. So while you're trying to get to 60 and getting all your aspects.
Oh god. Again, see, this is what Blizzard does. The leveling stage of this game has been dead and irrelevant, and no one is asking for it for forever at this point. It's just no one gives a shit. It is what it is. And Blizzard is like, because you know what's happening here? This is what I said. The average person currently is playing a new season of Diablo 4 for an hour or two over the time span of 3 days or a week, and then just never logging in again until the next season. That's how bad the situation is, and this is why they want to make the early game more impactful, because they think, oh, maybe this is gonna get people to play to the mid or late game. I haven't seen the end game in this shitty game for like 3 seasons at this point. I couldn't care less. It's just so boring.
Less legends are dropping, and on top, magic items now have 2 affixes again, and rare items have 3 affixes again. That's amazing.
No one cares.
Legendaries are still meant to be the absolute best item power at the end. You still want legendaries, but at least during your leveling journey, rares become
completely pointless. Completely pointless. If you want to get people to play this game longer, just give them level 60 instantaneously and Torment tier 4. Or better yet, even remove Torment tiers because they're stupid.
become useful again. That's good and bad, because getting legendaries made things easier during my level journey. I was just able to pick them up, and I knew they're going to be inherently better than the rares, and every rare is kind of useless. Now,
not kind of useless, fully useless.
I might be forced to look at rares again. At least it's not painful to pick weapons up anymore, because if you get a legendary weapon, it had 3 affixes on it, and it was just simply stronger than a rare item. So now you can at least equip yourself with higher item power rares during your level process. Still though, I mean, just making the leveling longer is not making the leveling better. This this feels just like we have a KPI that's called spend more time in the game, and they're trying to meet this number now. They're trying to make you spend more time in the game.
Well, it's not a KPI, first of all. It's just a basic thing that Blizzard sees that the average person. Again, I would not be surprised if at this point the average person played Diablo 4's new season for an hour and never logged in again. I would not be surprised in the slightest that it was that bad.
Not have more fun.
Like Elon Musk is 75 of the player base's time spent in this game.
Not enjoy yourself more. They might have their arguments why they think this is good, but on first glance, it just feels like the level experience is being slowed down for the sake of being slowed down. I'm unsure about this change. Please, this is probably the most heavily discussed thing there. Yes, sure, like the end game might not be the end game you're hoping for. What do you think about this? Because a lot of people want to get 60 to enjoy the end game. And a lot of people want to have a good journey to 62, which I can understand. But right now, the Diablo journey is rather a short one where you just blast through and then actually do the end game, do farm the bosses, do have fun. This here is another example. It is the burrow from Duriel's. When you evade, you now burrow underground, immobilizing surrounding enemies for 5 seconds and dealing 200% on your entry and exit. You deal 200% damage every 0.25 seconds while burrowed. Evade's cooldown is increased by 4 seconds, and cooldown reduction on evade is 50% as effective. Looks kind of fun, doesn't it? Same goes here. This was the Lilith wave. When you cast like a skill, you shoot out this wave that does bonus damage, and then more bonus damage, and more bonus damage, and more bonus.
This thing, I want to play Druid with the shit that shoots out lightning automatically.
More bonus damage, and more bonus damage, and more bonus damage. The powers are truly interesting. That would be the Belial's Crystal Decoy, where you fear enemies, it seems. When you
Useless.
Cast an agility, defensive, or macabre skill, spawn a crystal that taunts enemies and explodes after 3 seconds. Oh, cool. Or as a modifier, your main boss power fears nearby enemies. See.
So
no, that's
stupid.
not everything. We're also getting Deadly Apparitions, a new event. This event will be happening all throughout Sanctuary, and you can teleport there, so it's the new seasonal stuff. And it will summon 2 of Belial's bosses, 2 of Belial's sergeants, lieutenants, whatever you want to call them, amongst many minions, and then Mini Belial is going to pop out. So you want to do this because I assume the Mini Belial you kill there will also drop Betrayer's Husk that you can barely reach here because of image quality to then summon Big Exalted Belial. And since there are...
Okay, I mean, it's... Dude, anything at this point is honestly better than just a fucking shitty zone. Dude, the zones have gotten so bad at this point. Remember I did the season 7 review of the zones? They're just so brainless. I have no idea of any quest that you're supposed to... of any 3 Whispers activity you're supposed to do in any zones. I just see a white triangle, 4 angle, 5 angle, or whatever the fuck they're called, and I just go and click on it. Something happens, something doesn't happen, I don't fucking know. Get 3 of Whispers rewards, bam, boom, bam, something starts spawning something, I don't know. It's just so retarded. You don't even need to know what's happening. This is how brain damaged and brain dead Diablo has become. You don't even know what's happening.
10 different bosses in this event. There are 10 different apparition bosses. I would assume that they're the blue powers down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 10 bosses here are the apparition bosses. Then you got world bosses and Grigoire, Varshan, and so on. Up here is probably Exalted Belial, Duriel, and Dariel, Lilith, and whoever that other one is. Maybe the Infernal Horde bosses. Huh. Could be the Infernal Horde bosses. Now, on top of all of this,
does anyone even do Infernal Hordes anymore?
The layer bosses are also getting new mechanics, and they're being made harder, more difficult to fight, and more...
Oh, yay, harder, more stat checks. Like, why the fuck do you... I don't care. Like making, like literally, Blizzard thinks making harder is making them deal 30% more damage. It's stupid.
challenging. I guess you can kill all of them in
You know how many mechanics this boss has? I don't fucking know, like one or something like that, which you can ignore because it either one shots you or it doesn't, and that's it. That's it.
Torment 1, but having more mechanics or different mechanics might at least shake it up a bit, because I've killed the Beast of Ice 500 times, Duriel 1,000 times, and so on. A little bit of change is better than nothing at all. Now, I told you they're making the game harder, right? Torment 1 will now begin from pit tier 10 on, okay? And then Torment and pit scaling is increasing by 20x. This is significant. Because it means
not
that
X.
every consecutive level is 20% multiplicative harder than the level before. So it's not like that pit 100 is 20% harder. It's like from the beginning on that everything is 20% and then 20% on top and then 20% on top and 20%. Everything will get harder. In their opinion, it was too easy to reach Torment 4. Too many people reach Torment 4. And for some reason, they want to...
Oh, right. I actually forgot about that. Reaching Torment 4 is supposed to be hard. Ah, fuck me.
gatekeep this.
I did that without guides. Okay? I didn't even know what are the good builds. Good builds.
They want to gatekeep you away. And now Torment 4, instead of starting from pit tier 65, starts from pit tier 76. But that pit tier 76 is obviously not pit tier 76 anymore, since they're making the Torment and the pit scaling tougher. You're going to have a
This still seems extremely easily achievable, though.
harder time reaching it. And that comes back to my just making the game last longer, not making the game better. Sure, a more challenging game gives you a more rewarding feeling of reaching that point. And I think that's, in general, a good change. But at the beginning, now with Season 8, it simply feels like they're trying to make us spend more time in the game. We're not talking about the actual player satisfaction, how good it will feel to then level up. It just simply feels like they made it more of a task, right? We had a fun candy blasting thingy, and now we're being shut down.
And this game's still... This game still needs another expansion, by the way. Unique aspects. There are some things that are interesting, I guess, but... You know, let's skip to the problems and struggles.
March 11 to 12, so it's very soon, just around the corner.
Oh, the PTR, great.
And for the love of God, please, if you have Battle.net, play and give them some feedback. I do think this update...
Like, why would I do that? They're not gonna listen to me anyway. They're gonna listen to fucking Johnny Two Fingers, okay? Who's almost dead from leukemia and other shit, okay? They're gonna listen to him because he's struggling at level 1 killing a basic mob, okay? Fuck off.
It is a good update. My problem with the update is it feels like something that shouldn't be a season. Like, hey...
Yeah, I mean, everything that the Blizzard does doesn't feel like a season. Okay, let's look at the affixes, I guess. Aspect of service and sacrifice. I know this one already, by the way. Skeleton warriors explode, dealing blah 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 damage. Surrounding enemies. They lose 25% life per second while in combat. Skeleton mages take less damage and deal 100% more damage. Pretty interesting, I would honestly like to say. I kind of like this one. Because I want to make a necromancer out of bomber. That is my goal in life, and until that point, I'm probably gonna play Diablo 4's new seasons for like an hour or do a reset. Yeah, I know it's not great, but whatever. Blood of Seer, a new two-handed sword. Your summons damage afflict enemies with vampiric curse. Consuming corpses also contributes soul to vampiric curse, and it's up to now 20 stacks. Army of the Dead now releases the curses, so this is gonna be the new main build because yeah, I'm assuming these things can be stacked, and furthermore, I'm assuming that obviously. Sadly, as everything that Blizzard does new, it's gonna be overpowered and completely dumb. So yeah, there you go. That's one of the new things that we have here. No one cares. What is this? Blood Wave, Bloodlands, Minions. Bloodlands is shit. Well, honestly, everything is shit. You still don't use half the spells. 75% of the spells for every class are useless. Cataclysm, Snapshotting, that's stupid. Stone Burst, do people use that? Gothelm's Birthright, don't know what that is. What else do we have? Oh, look at that. Aspect of Impending Deluge. Storm Strike damage is increased by 50%. What was Storm Strikes? Was that the lightning? By 50% increase the damage target from your other skills by blah blah blah. Okay, very stupid. Actually, it's kind of nice. I like Stormy Werewolf Druid. Anim of the Forest grants 15% attack speed, willpower, humanity. The fuck? While in human form, critical strikes to enemies with nature's critical strikes striking enemies with nature's magic 200 times grant you Anim of the Forest form. What the hell is that? While infused with Anim of the Forest, you gain Perfect Storm and Earthen. Oh, that's insanely OP. A free Earthen Might Keystone. Shit, boy, that's a whole new build in one item. Admittedly, I already said this. This start. Blizzard is gonna do this because they need to introduce the Haradric Cube, or they need to do literally this. Add a whole goddamn fucking build to an item. Because remember, the Meteor Sorceress hat that they made, that's a whole build in a single item. And this is the same shit now. 10 out of 10. Barbarian duels, no one cares. I have never played Barbarian. What is this? Aspect of the delayed extinction? Okay. Mighty Throw, no one cares. It's Barbarian shit. Aspect of contamination, poison trap bursts. I don't play rogues also. Dealing trigger, blah blah blah. It's rogues. I don't know if this is good. Rogues scale insanely with just the most random bullshit for no reason. Ice shots, crackling energy, meteors. Let's shivering aspect. Enemies take up to 40% increase base damage based on how much are they chilled or staggering. You apply 15% more chill. Okay. What is this? Maximum cold resist. Cold resistant. That's insane. That's insane. Look at this. 15% in. 20% max life almost. 15% speed. 8 ice shards. Ice shards now separate out with 2 additional shards dealing 1.5% increased damage for each time ice shards damage an enemy for the last 5 up to. Okay, so this is making ice shards valid. Again, they could literally just make the skills good themselves, but they're not doing that. This was my complaint years ago at this point. Literally a year ago. The fact that they're not making skills usable, they're adding some kind of aspect that makes a skill usable, and that's shit. Because the skills that are already usable are so much better, because then instead of an aspect that makes a skill usable, you can add an aspect that makes the skill deal more damage. So they're naturally always gonna go ahead. This is why they're adding so much to these skills and these setups, because they need to make it usable and they need to pump in damage. This is why there's a damage aspect to these skills and a utility aspect in all of these items. This just literally shows how much the Blizzard has fucked honestly up. Rushing Claw. What is Rushing Claw? This is a druid thing. Increased damage and empowers based on how many charges it has. Blah blah blah. Guaranteed critical strike additional time. Okay, what is Rushing Claw though? Picking up a oh, this is not a druid. This is the new class that I still haven't played. Picking up a storm feather forms a firestorm around you for 8 seconds. Damages every 0. Every additional 5 storm feathers you pick up increases by 100, but not refreshes the duration. The firestorm is considered to be an eagle, jaguar, and storm feather skill. Okay. Jesus. So stupid. Anyway, is that it? Are there any new items? We covered all the classes. Yeah, I guess this is it. It's horrible. I mean, that I don't think there's any saving this shitty game at this point. Pavni. Oof. There you go. 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye bye.